Finance Committee meeting for December 4th, 2023. Counselor Jones? Here. Gwaltney? Allemon? Smith?
Here.
Harden? Here. All right, that's three.
We have a quorum?
Do we have any of those other meetings?
No, we
Meeting
just
minutes?
have the
meeting
November
minutes?
13th meeting.
Okay, well, I would make a motion to approve and, the minutes and dispense with the reading.
Okay,
Second, John.
It's been moved
Hey, John, second.
Second.
and seconded by Mr. Harden. Any other questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. 3-0, that passes. Without objection, we'll carry over the next three items for minutes. We're still waiting on those. So we'll move, this should be a pretty fast meeting. Moving to old business, 2006-23, request for consideration of city manager. And I don't believe, yes.
I don't have anything to report tonight, but I'm hoping by the next meeting that I'll have some information with regards to that redistricting.
Okay.
Between us, and I really don't know what about that.
Okay. So we'll carry that over without objection for our next meeting.
Somehow she thinks she's always.
1309-23, request to amend FY 22-23 budgets. Mr. Forget has asked that we carry this over for the next meeting to put those items together. 1410-23, bid opening set for December 11th at 4:31 for Delcris sidewalk. Everything still on track for that, right, Cal?
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal. So
Getting interested parties.
We won't know until the
We've
11th.
gotten a few.
we've already got.
Oh, we've already got bids?
I'm sorry?
We've already got bids in?
We've gotten a few people that have asked for plans.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they're working on it.
That's good.
Okay.
Gotcha. Good.
It's when you get nobody asking for
And
it.
Counselor Allemon is here, and then,
So I'm checking his watch.
Counselor Gwaltney will be here in just a minute as well. Okay, so we'll carry that over pending the bid opening, December 11th. 0310-23, bid opening held November 6th at 4:31 for communication services. Counselor Smith.
Yes, I think I sent, I don't know if y'all saw it, but I sent the contract that Mike put together for Brian. Brian was the sole bidder, and we went through and eliminated a couple things. We're not gonna be doing BZA any longer, and in his original proposal, it included the Parks and Rec website management. That obviously is going under Berkeley's budget going forward. It was in the original, when he built their website, it was in our original
So still doing
thing.
it, but just in a different budget?
Yeah, it's not in our
Yeah.
budget, yeah, so we're not paying for it, Berkeley is, so,
Thank you, Berkeley.
yeah, well, he's not even here, but thank you anyway. So anyway, so yeah, so the contract is ready, and, oh yeah, there he is, oh, sorry, I said he wasn't here. So that's it, and we're
Always
gonna,
spending
we
his
just need to
money.
move it out to council, to
Okay.
get it done.
Okay, so
So I would make a motion to approve the contract.
Second.
okay, let's move by Counselor Smith and seconded by Counselor Allemon.
And I want to thank Barry for working on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, yeah, absolutely.
I haven't sent that to Brian.
Yeah,
I was waiting to hear back.
yeah, you can now.
If we vote for it.
Yeah, assuming how the vote goes.
Okay.
Depending on how the vote goes.
Let's see, any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. That's 4-0, that passes.
Okay, you wanna take some
Okay.
stuff on the table?
And, yeah, let's see. Yes, you wanted to
Sidewalks.
discuss 1601-15?
I'd make a motion to take 1601-15 off the table,
Second.
Okay, moved by Counselor Smith, seconded by Counselor Harden.
and then I would make,
Oh,
I'm sorry, we gotta
okay.
vote, don't
I
we?
know we're gonna
Sorry,
vote on that.
jumping,
Okay, all in
jumping.
favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. 4-0, that passes to take it off the table.
And then I would make a motion to drop.
Okay, move to drop. And we're-
Second.
Okay, and second, by
Just
Counselor Allemon, and
Out
the,
of curiosity as to the.
Just
Yeah.
because it's been sitting on the table for so long, Kale's just gonna keep us updated, like when we get in budgets, and he'll give us the list of sidewalks that we're doing,
Okay.
just
And-
instead of just keeping it like.
I'm happy to vote on this, but also just a future, how do we choose priorities in terms of projects
got
and how
that.
to.
I think we have that list, and now we're just moving into the
There's a
Hey,
list of
Kale,
priorities.
we're talking about dropping the sidewalk
Okay.
off the table, but can you, Carlos was asking about how we'll going forward, how we kind of keep track of what the priority list is and all that.
And how that gets revisited and how it gets decided upon by.
Yeah, like if
council.
we want to add, like if there's a new project that comes up, like how do we keep that flowing, I guess?
I mean, I think that's up to you. I don't really know how to, I've never been a part of the prioritization of sidewalk infrastructure. When I came.
So, and I'm glad you said that, because this is my point. I think
Yeah.
that it would be important for us to revisit that list now,
And that,
And-
Berkeley, is that a question for you?
along with Berkeley. And then revisit where the priorities and opportunities exist, right?
Yeah.
Cause I would hate that we would just leave
I
the
know.
Oh,
list,
yeah.
leave the list as, based on years before, but
Right.
things have changed, budgets have changed, and so if we could have a moment, and we could drop this, but introduce
Yeah.
a new item where
Yeah.
we would revisit the list as it currently stands, and then delegate priority
Yeah.
by
I think
current
that's
council.
Hey, Berkeley.
Berkeley.
Maybe.
Berkeley.
Hey,
We have
question.
just cut your salary, come on.
No, we're
Well,
talking
hold on,
about
I think,
the sidewalk list. Do you still have the sidewalk list? Does that live with you? Like the sidewalk party list?
got it somewhere.
I have.
Gail has it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I have it.
We were
Hale
just
has
talking about at some point revisiting it and kind of making
Yes,
sure.
go ahead.
Yeah,
So, what you're talking about is actually sort of where we were planning to go with this.
Okay.
We are pretty much done with the high priority list.
Right.
We're almost completely done. I mean,
Yeah.
there's really only maybe one or two left on there, and they're ones that are quite frankly difficult,
Yeah.
and so decisions need to be made about that.
Yeah.
At that point, what's left is all the medium there is no low priority. So
Yeah.
all that's left is the medium priority, which is a significant list, and to your point, is probably, once we get past Delphris and the ones that we've been working on, it's time to start looking at those again and sort of seeing how those are going to shake out. We were just trying to get to the end of the high priority, or at least down to the high priorities that were possible. And I think after Delphris, that's sort of where we are.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing to add to Alice is, with us now being able to, I mean, we're able to work on a lot of these that before we couldn't. So I think the biggest thing after that would be new ones.
Yeah.
That, new construction ones. I think, because I think the majority, I mean, we've got a list, don't get me wrong, it's a lengthy list, but, I mean, we're able to stay on those. I mean, pretty much we're doing those weekly.
And they were working somewhere, where was I today, that they were, on the end of Forest.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, they were out there working on those.
So we
today.
tied in a ramp to that one that was not there before.
Yeah.
So I think it, like you said, I think now it's just a matter of, I mean, if it's new ones, that would be you guys prioritizing those new ones. But after that, I think it's us just trying to begin to focus on taking care of the ones we've got and redoing a lot of those.
Okay, so maybe we drop it off this agenda and then at some point it's on the Public Works agenda?
Well, I mean, I think we need to still prioritize as a city, because if I'm not mistaken, Valley Avenue, leading to schools are still some of the ones that were on the high priority list, but considered difficult. But I think we need to have that discussion. If we're leaving out of veins to the school, we need to decide about that.
Public Works.
Yeah, and I think to your point, I think Valley is one of the last on the high priorities that we just sort of need to decide what to do about. I think that everything left on the high priority are sort of decisions to be made at this point, rather than just sort of automatically going to the next project.
Yeah.
And then once those decisions are made about those projects, then I think the next step is prioritizing the medium priority list, which is pretty lengthy as well. So what I would suggest is, don't drop the item yet.
Okay, just leave it.
Leave it, and let's let Kale maybe distribute the list, email it out to everybody so that everyone can see it.
That'd be nice.
Because my guess is it's probably a long time since
Yeah.
most people have
Yes.
seen it.
The last one I have is from like 3 years ago.
Yeah. So, well, and truthfully, it's not a whole lot different from 3 years ago.
Right.
Because the only projects that we've been doing are big projects that take up the
Most
annual
of the
budget.
budget.
Or even half a
Yeah.
project is
I think
taking
the
up
one
an
I still
annual
have
budget.
still has Salter sidewalks as a pending, so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I
Let's get
would-
that one going.
So I would say, let's distribute the list, let everyone have some time to digest that
Okay.
before we get rid of the item, and then,
Do
and
you
then we
wanna table it
can
again,
start
or
working
you
on
wanna
that.
keep it on the-
Yeah, so can I make a motion to
You can-
re-table?
Yeah, you can.
1601-15.
Table.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hart.
Hey, I appreciate y'all for the conversation.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm glad we had this conversation. The reason that my idea was to remove it off of here was that, I mean, every year at budget time, you know, we look at what you believe can be done, and what the medium list, what does that equate to? What do you believe you can accomplish in that fiscal year? And we did that in budget hearings. So I want to keep doing that, but we can certainly keep this in here and look further at the
Mr.
medium.
Chairman, and I agree with you completely, but I also think that too, Ms. Neer's point about schools being a priority, right? And I think that wherever schools are, if there's sidewalks, that we figure that out as well. And not just ease of project completion, but also safety being a part of that.
Well,
Yeah.
and just so everyone that wasn't on the council at the time that this was done, that was actually the basis for making the high priority list.
Yeah, that was the
And-
original.
And so when we were
It
talking
worked out
about,
for the schools,
when we were
essentially.
talking within the high priority list of what's easy to do and not to do, it was because they all hit that criteria.
Yeah, exactly.
And so now, we've got a few that we need to make some decisions about. And then the medium priority list, I think then we do need to go through that process of sort of saying, okay, we've hit the sort of main arteries, hopefully, of the schools unless anything's changed. Now, what are the next steps out from those arteries and how do we want to prioritize?
And I guess I will say, I don't know if the topography has changed in a few areas in terms of, I know some issues with prior sidewalks listed was right of way, and like there's one on Scott Street that had been talked about, it's on the list, but there were huge oak trees in the city right of way that had
And
been
some of
taken
those are not
down.
there anymore, yeah.
And that one connects to an apartment complex and then some other stuff. But that's relatively low hanging fruit too. But I just didn't know if there was a way to kind of have somebody on the fourth floor look at
I think
how those were.
sorting through the medium is gonna take a little while. I don't think we should get too far ahead of ourselves on
Yeah.
that.
And we already have our budget this year.
And quite frankly, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, we've got time to do it because this year we're doing the other half of Delphi, so.
Right.
So I don't disagree with you that doing that would be a good idea for
Sure.
someone in Kale's, I guess it would be Kale's department.
It'd be Kale.
Kale's Department of Kale.
To start looking at those things and seeing what they are. But in the meantime, I think us sort of just getting a sense of where the list is and what those medium projects are.
Sure.
Is a good idea, and then talking about what these Valley and whatever the last couple of ones are on high priority.
Sounds great.
And the only thing I'd request from you is, just so we can celebrate our successes, if we can get a recap of all the
Yeah.
sidewalks we've done.
Yeah.
I mean, we have done miles and miles of sidewalks.
Yes, sir.
And if we could just kind of get an idea of what all we've already accomplished, I think that would be really
I
helpful.
don't wanna be a Debbie Downer, but we gotta start looking at the storm drains. I mean, I love the sidewalks, but we gotta start looking at
Berkeley,
the
did you hear I was talking positive?
the non-pretty stuff. So I don't wanna steal Kale's thunder, but just don't forget that part of it, so.
Okay, we're not, okay. We did not vote on it.
Right.
So all in favor of tabling this again, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. Now we're 5-0.
Right, got that.
5-0. We have tabled it on, and there's, I'm not
We're
gonna
not
bring
talking
up
about anything
anything
else.
else. So with that, we are adjourned.